Hi friends, welcome to virtual learning. We are learning the new dress written by Virginia Woolf. Friends, we have studied fourth part of this text. Now this is fifth one. And in our last part, we are here the last line carving Sunday mutton. Here this one. She is unexpectedly to Hubert. Sometimes she had quite unexpectedly carving the mutton for Sunday lunch for no reason. Her imagination, we have seen that Easter imagination in last video. Now here the next. Here and opening letters without any reason. She is opening letter, coming into room, divine moments, and she remember that moments when she said to herself, for she would never say this anybody else. All her imagination she would never disclose. It is that this is it. This has happened. This is it. Virginia will saying here, yes, this happened. This is it. Her imagination. She imagined. She tried to escape from the reality. And the other way about it was equally surprising. And other way out that is surprising. That is when everything was arranged. Now here how it is surprising. Everything was arranged and the music, weather, holidays, every reason for happiness was there. Here in her family also and in that party also, everything was there. Then nothing happened at all, and one wasn't happy. One wasn't happy in that environment because Babel was very nervous and she just feeling very sad and consider herself that is the inferior lower level. It was flat, just flat. That was all. Then her wretched self, that is once again, wretched self, restless self, again, no doubt, she had always been fretful. Once again, wretched, restless, weak, unsatisfactory mother. And she is an unsatisfactory mother, a wobbly wife. And once again, unsatisfactory mother also and wife also. That is a unsteady. Wobbly means unsteady wife, lolling about in a kind of twilight, and she's just imagining in a kind of twilight. Twilight means such a period, means before sunrise and after before sunrise and after sunset. That period is known as twilight, and she just means period time is very short. So that is nothing with nothing very important, very clear or very bold more one thing than another, like all her brothers and sisters, except perhaps Herbert. Her brothers and sisters, they were also the same. Their economic condition also the same. Not so good, not well to do. And except Herbert, maybe Herbert, her brother, maybe his condition was okay. They were all the same poor water vein creatures, and all that brothers and sisters they were water vein creatures. Water vein creatures means here small creatures, lobster type, and low value persons. In another way, low value persons who did nothing, and who did nothing. Then, in the midst of this creeping, crawling life, their life is a creeping life, crawling life, and suddenly she was on the crest of wave. She was on the crest of wave means that ride on the crest of wave. That wretched fly. She remembered the wretched fly once again in the party. Where had she read the story that kept coming into her mind about the fly and the saucer? Struggle out, struggle to come from that milk, struggle to come from that milk. And here, yes, she had those moments. She remembered those moments, but now that she was 40, at the age, her age, that is 40, they might come more and more seldom. And these thoughts might come more and more seldom. Is the chance to uprise that might come by degrees, step by step. She would cease to struggle anymore. And by degrees, step by step, she is struggling try to come out from that condition, her lower standard or her economic standard. She wanted to be rich. Step by step, she would see struggle anymore. But that was deplorable. That is also deplorable is in the sense struggling. That was not to be endured, and not to be endured means not to be bearable. That made her feel ashamed of herself, and she ashamed herself on herself, pity herself. She would go to London Library. Now she is imagining different thing. She would go London Library tomorrow. She would find some wonderful, helpful, astonishing book, so that that book may give solace to her. She will read that book, and might be she forget her sorrows. Quite by chance, a book by clergyman, or quite by chance, a blue book by clergyman. Clergyman is here a priest person uh, who just preaches something good in church by an American, and that person American no one had ever heard of. Or she would walk down the strand, or she would walk down the strand and drop. Walk down the strand. See here the meaning. Right side strand, narrow street, the edge of the sea. And here library, London Library also given there. Independent leading library in London, established in 1841 by Thomas Carlyle. And she would stand there, that road, into a hall where a miner was telling about the life, where a miner means who works in mine, that person was telling about life in the pit, here trench or in that mine. And suddenly she would become a new person. And after listening that man, miner, she would become new person, means some changes that happen in Mabel. She would be absolutely transformed, and she would be absolutely transformed, change, transform. She would wear a uniform. She would be called sister somebody, and she would wear, means her imagination is there. Now she imagined to be a sister in church. She would never give a thought of clothes again, and she would never give this thought of clothes again. And forever after, she would be perfectly clear about Charles Burt and Miss Milan. Now it will perfectly clear, means no one will blame her dress or her costume. And this room and that room, this room means here the room of Dalby, drawing room, or the room of Mabel. No one will point out these things. And it would be always day after day, as if she were lying in the sun. Day after day, she were lying in the sun, or carving the mutton, or preparing the mutton for her house, for her home. It would be it. It is her imagination. So she got up from the blue sofa, and the yellow button in the looking glass got up too. Now here, yellow button refers to Mabel. She stand up from that sofa, aroused, transformed into good personality or good changes that happen in her mind. She decided to go London Library, and she waved her hand to Charles and Rose, that is Rose Shaw and Charles Bird, to show them she did not depend on them one scrap. Means she is not depending on their opinion now, not a single opinion or not a small opinion, that is one scrap. And yellow button moved out of the looking glass, from that glass, and all the spears were gathered into her breast. All the spears means she imagined that all persons mocking their Mabel, and they throw spears on Mabel's yellow dress. Now all that spears gathered in her chest. She walked towards Mrs. Dalby and said good night. She directly walked to Mrs. Dalby, host of the party, who has given this party. But it's too early to go, said Mrs. Dalby, who was always so charming. And this charming personality said, well, it's too early. Why you are going then? What's her answer? See her the next. I am afraid I must, said Mabel Waring. But she added in her weak, wobbly voice. And she said, no, I must have to go. I am afraid I must have to go. Someone is waiting home. So, but she added in her voice that was weak and wobbly, means unsteady or shaky voice, because she is very nervous. That's why her voice is also weak, which only sounded ridiculous. And when she tried to strengthen it, and she tried to strengthen that voice and said, I have enjoyed myself enormously. I have enjoyed myself, she said to Mrs. Dalby, whom she met on stairs. Lies. Once again, she said, enjoyed myself. Actually, she didn't enjoy. That's why saying this, and that's why she remembered one the line of that book, lies, lies, lies. She said to herself, going downstairs and right in the saucer, and downstairs right in the saucer means at the place in the saucer, drowning deep and deep. That fly. She said to herself as thank Mrs. Barnett, and she also thanks to Mrs. Barnett because she helped her. Barnett for helping her and wrap herself round and round and round in a Chinese cloth, and that cloth means here the upper part of that dress, or the what we say that in Indian language, that is odni Marathi. So cloth she had owned these 20 years. She wrapped that round and round and went at home. Here, friends, we have finished this text. It's so lengthy text. So I hope uh, you also read at home. Once again, go through the text. Whatever the activities will be there on the text downside. So you have to complete in your notebook. We will discuss later on that activities also. I will send PDF of that activity formats or that activity. So hope so. Thanks for watching video. Thank you very much. Watch video, and if you like our videos, then give us thumbs up.